everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kate. This is Diamond Painting and Dr. Pepper, and I have a new vlog for you today. Hopefully it'll be an exciting one. This week we are going to Dragonsteel Con in Utah, leaving the day after tomorrow. Today's Tuesday. I am trying to edit and export last week's vlog, but I'm having a slight issue. It's been rendering required audio files at 0% for quite a bit now. And I've tried closing out of the program, restarting. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know if it's ever going to start rendering required audio files or what, but I'm annoyed. Okay, after some workarounds, I managed to get it to start exporting, but man, it's exporting a lot slower than usual, so I guess I'm staying up later than I want to. I'm gonna go make myself some eggs. Okay, I finally got my video uploaded and scheduled and all that stuff. It took a while. I finished another section on Cozy Christmas Witch while I was waiting for all of that. Although, because I kind of had to be here to like make sure it was doing its thing. I should have done a few chores and stuff. Now it's like 2:40 a.m. and I keep trying to push my like wake up time earlier and earlier this week because the morning after tomorrow we have to be up. We have to be to the airport by like, I don't know, 8:15. So we have to leave the house by 7-ish. So I have to be up pretty early. And then I'm going to be up pretty late because that is the night of the Worldhopper Ball. And it starts at like 10, I think. And it goes for 2 hours. So it's going to be a long day of travel and all that fun stuff. So all that to say, I'm trying to move my schedule back, but it's already getting close to 3 a.m. and I have not gone to bed. And there's chores I need to get done. So I'm gonna get on it. Max and I just got done at the vet. He got his monthly shot. He was a good boy. He got to meet lots of fun other dogs. He was very friendly. Now we are getting some food and then heading home. And then I'm gonna work a little bit and start packing because tomorrow's the day I leave. Tonight, the older kids are gonna drive up around, they'll be here around 7:45 or so. Right now it's 4:30. So I have a little bit of time to finish up working and stuff before they get here. Okay guys, it is the night before we take off. We have to get up at like 5:30 a.m. and leave here by 6:10. I have packed a mini dazzle set to bring, my sketchbook, a couple of card games that are Sanderson themed, and my water bottle and stuff. Tomorrow I gotta remember my phone charger and my bag full of toiletries that still has some stuff I need to put in it that I'm going to use in the morning. Ugh, I hate, worrying like I'm going to forget something because we're leaving so early tomorrow, like right after we wake up. So that's nerve-wracking. But, oh my gosh, stuff is messy over there because I was getting ready, so don't look at my desk. Anyway, yeah, the kids got here kind of late. It was like almost 8, and we spent the evening playing my Wordle board game, except with a Brandon Sanderson Cosmere theme. So all of the words that we picked had to be from his books, and it was really fun. It was a great way to like get excited about the con and everything. So we probably played a little too late. We did play also Telestrations, and we wrote down, usually that game is like, you have to draw a card and then the card has a word on it that you have to draw and then you pass it along and people have to guess what you drew. But Casey sat down and wrote out a bunch of things from Brandon Sanderson's books and then we had to draw those. So that was fun too. We only got to play one round of that because it got pretty late and we had to get ready to, go. So anyway, we're all excited. It's almost midnight. Gotta get up in like 5.5 hours-ish, so I'm gonna go try to go to bed. It's 5:45 in the morning. I have not been able to go back to sleep since 4:30. Too nervous, too excited. So I got up and started prepping, and we're gonna be on our way soon. So exciting. My dad was nice enough to drive us all to the airport. We got to his house by about 6:30, 6:45 in the morning, and of course, we brought Apollo with us on the trip. Our Portland airport recently got a whole new redesign, and it looks very different inside and actually really gorgeous. Like, there's trees in there, it's all open and airy. I love it. Gotta love those moving walkways that make you look like you're going super fast. Casey's still in his I hate being on camera stage, so you won't see much video of him on this trip. Here's the mist cloak Fletcher crocheted for the trip, and it got a lot of attention at the con for sure. We were sitting in the very last row of this little Delta plane, and unfortunately, as we were pretty much the last to board, there wasn't enough overhead bin space, and Sam and Fletcher had to, at the last moment, check their bags, which meant we had to take extra time once we got to Salt Lake to go to the baggage claim and get our baggage from there. But it wasn't too bad. It didn't delay us too awful much. It was cool seeing this giant corn maze with stuff written out in the corn. Very neat to see from above. After we landed, I opened the Lyft app and just ordered a Lyft to take us straight to the hotel, and we got our baggage from the baggage claim, and that was right by the exit, so we walked on out, and we only had to wait a couple minutes before our Lyft driver showed up to take us to the hotel, so it worked out perfectly. We checked into our hotel, and the first thing I did was use the bathroom, and the toilet just started spouting water. We called the front office and they sent someone to fix it while we went down to check in at the convention, which was the building next door. So I really loved being able to just walk to and from the hotel anytime we wanted to take a rest or change clothes or anything. It was really convenient to just walk right over and go up to our room. I don't think I'd want to do this any other way. So as part of our check-in for the con, we got these cool story deck card packs. And apparently this isn't like a new trading card game, it's something specifically for the convention. And it looks like there's different stories made up in these cards, and you have to like get each of the pages of the story, and there's some holographic ones and stuff. It's so cool. So we're gonna see if we have enough to trade with each other. Some rock candy for Mistborn fans. And a beautiful, delicate sill ornament. After the Win in Truth release party, we had enough time to run back to the hotel and get dressed for the Worldhopper Ball. It was a very long line to get in, about 45 minutes, but man, once we walked through the entryway, It was so magical. It was like we were transported to a whole different world.
Come on in, the show's about to begin.
Thank
Let's
you.
keep going. We don't want you to miss it. We've been working hard for you.
When did they come? Two worlds have become one. Two paths become one. Two journeys become one.
Yes, I did. I didn't know. Thank you. It's simple,
I know some of you have traveled quite a distance to be here tonight. It certainly shows. I jest, of course. The bride and groom are enthused that you could all join us and hope that this can be an evening of respite and revelry. Drinks and food have been provided by the Gancho Catering Cousins. Some of you have already begun into. Who would have expected the culinary delights of the Unkalaki and their dads to grace the upper halls of Urithiru? What unites a world better than food and festivity?
Hey everybody! I get to give the toast today. Different one of us gives one on each of the nights. So I wrote some stuff out here. So I met Dalinar in 1993. He was my first friend in the Cosmere other than Wit, wherever Wit went. Oh, yeah, there you are, Wit. Wit was actually first, I'm sorry, to inflict you with him. I was 17 when I met Dalinar. So I was 17, and you intimidated the heck out of me, as is rightly so. I gave up on his story, never finished it, at least that version. So, I met Shallan in 1998. I did finish her story, but she was very much only a small piece of it. She only got to light lead once. She did get to hug Wit in that version, but that story never got released. Well, you can kind of read it. I met Jasnah and Adolin in 2001. Jasnah came fully formed as Jasnah, and has always been very Jasnah. I think Navani would agree with me that Jasnah is just always very Jasnah. Adolin, I didn't appreciate yet. Sorry for how I treated you originally. I'm going to repeat it if I hear it cut out. So, I eventually did you service. It took me a while to recognize how great you are. I met Navani and Kaladin in 2009. So, by then I was a professional dreamer, and your story no longer intimidated me, and I finally managed to do it right. So, I have this thing that I say, and that is that I don't believe stories live until they're imagined. So I don't write the full story. I write 70% of it, and the rest exists inside of your minds. When you dream that story that I have begun, that is when the story lives. And so I sincerely appreciate you. All of you here, all of you guests, it is you who perfect my perfected art. And I sincerely appreciate that. So, the toast. If you've got something, raise it, all right? To the couple, their friends and family, you are quite literally always on my mind. To Emily, my heart, who is somewhere here. She snuck off to get food, but she is listening. Oh, she's waving from way in the back. So. To my Dragonsteel family, you make the hard work worth the effort. To all those who put this together, may you eventually get some sleep. Maybe another few days. And to the guests, may your minds always be full of stories that you get to finish. And that is my toast. Have a wonderful day.
After the presentation, the actors playing the characters kind of stepped to the side so that we could go up and meet them, and Sam got to interact with her favorite character, and it was so cool. I don't know. It was the closest we'll ever get to experiencing this other world, and it was amazing. Hey guys, we just got back from the Worldhopper Ball. That was an experience. We waited in line for like 45 minutes to get in, which makes sense. There's a lot of people waiting. But then once we got in, it was amazing. I feel like I'm gonna have to sit down and like really talk about all that happened when I'm a little bit more collected, because it's been a long day. This is still day one. And yeah, it was really fun, but also we were very tired and we couldn't manage to get a drink because you had to wait in line for the drinks and the line just never moved. So we did have to kind of cut out a little bit early, but I think we got through most of it. So we had a good time. It was well worth it. And then we even got to pick up our book bundles afterwards, which we didn't think we would get to do tonight. So we were extra happy because now we have our books. Casey's reading already. And I'm still waiting for mine to show up on Audible. It hasn't shown up yet, but that's okay because I'm gonna go to bed. I'm really tired. And we have a lot more to do tomorrow. So I will keep checking in when I can. Day 2, there was this really cool museum that we got to go to that just had a bunch of exhibits from all of the different worlds in the Cosmere, and it was really neat to see all these different things. We did stand in line for this, but it was well worth it to see all the fun things they had on display.
to say some very inflammatory things about Moash.
Do we have any real ones in here?
The Dragonsteel Nexus. Alrighty, Cosmere 101 for everybody walking in. This is a minimal to no spoiler panel. This is for all the newbies in the room.
Morning, guys. It is Saturday morning. Right now it's past 9, but it's mountain time, so I still have a little under an hour before I gotta try and be online to purchase the Disney Kids release, and I'm still trying to figure out how many I can buy because I have been spending some money at this convention. Yesterday was great. We just walked around and visited a ton of panels and tried to fill out our passport book, which we're getting a lot closer to doing. And when we fill out pages, we can go turn them in for more of those story cards. And we're trying to complete our collection before the end of the weekend because I think this is the only place we can get them. So Fletcher did a little trading last night and figured out how that worked, trading with other people. So we're gonna have to do that today once we figure out what we're gonna finally need after we get all of our packs from doing the passport book. So that's fun. We have some more panels to go to today. We're gonna try out some of the games in the game room and maybe check out some of the crafts and more artist alley, so that'll be cool. Yeah, it's our last day here. Kind of bittersweet. We gotta get up super early tomorrow to get to the airport. Our flight takes off at 8 a.m., so we probably gotta be there by 6. And the hardest part is gonna be trying to pack all of the stuff that we've gotten into our suitcases so that we can fit them on the plane and get them home. So wish us luck, everybody. I'm sitting here trying to trade my cards for all the story cards I need, but some of them are really tough to get a hold of. Time to check out. It's 5:30 a.m. We're headed back home. Hey guys, so I am going to go ahead and finish this video up with kind of a whip and chat type thing. As you might be able to tell from my voice, I got pretty sick during this week. So I don't know if it was con crud, which is something that's pretty common, is getting sick at the end of a con, or my husband got sick like the day after we left for the con because his coworker was sick. So it could have really been from either, because it didn't start till a few days after we got back. And so I'm not sure which one it was. But either way, I was unable to finish editing this video before the sick happened, and I've pretty much just been working and sleeping during the week. I'm sorry if I sniffle while we chat. I'm going to try to keep it to a minimum. But I did want to finish this video and get it out for you guys. I think what's going to end up happening is that I'm going to do this as kind of a combined vlog / whip and chat, but I probably won't do my regular whip and chat things like yay or nay at the end, because I know some people just won't be interested in a video about Dragonsteel Nexus, so I want to go ahead and let those people decide to skip this one if they're not interested, and that way we can just have this whole dedicated video about Dragonsteel and everything that happened with that, and then back to our regular type of content next week. So Dragonsteel was amazing. I'm sad that it's over. And that's always, it's weird with vacations. Like, I don't know if I'm the only one, but I almost get sad when it's time, you know, you've been waiting for a long time and anticipating. And I almost get sad when it's actually time for the vacation to happen, because then it's just going to be a memory, you know? But that's the only way to make the memory. So, but it was an amazing time to have with my 3 kiddos and just geek out together about this thing that we all love. And we went to a lot of fun panels, and there were a lot of really neat artist booths and vendors. And Casey discovered a new love for dice sets, like for D&D, which he doesn't play, but he's interested in playing. So he used his spending money to get like 3 different dice sets. By the way, I am working on Cozy Christmas Witch while we chat. And I'm on like well, technically it's the 3rd row, but the 1st row was just like a little sliver. So this is just my 2nd full row, we'll say. And this is the first time I've been able to diamond paint since I got home. So I haven't gotten much done on this beauty. Last you saw was probably when I was doing this part here, and I finished this row here, and now I'm just on the next one. So haven't gotten very much done just because I've been sick. But I did manage to get through most of the work week until Friday, when things took a turn for the worse and I had to go and crash about halfway through the day. And I didn't get up out of bed again until today's Saturday. I didn't get up out of bed until about 24 hours later. And I'm feeling a slight bit better today, but mostly I tried to get up because today was my son's big winter concert, and I didn't want to miss that because it's a ticketed event, and this was our last chance to see it. There were 4 performances this week, and this was the last one. And Sam and Adrian were coming to watch it, and they were going to stay here, but they decided not to because of how sick I am. Sam managed to avoid getting sick after the con, but Fletcher unfortunately didn't. Fletcher has been sick about since the same time I got sick. So he couldn't come to this concert like he was planning to, unfortunately. Casey also got sick, and he missed his first day back at school on Monday, but has been going ever since, even though he's still kind of sick. He's been wearing a mask and stuff, but this is like the concert of the year, and it would very negatively affect his grade if he didn't perform in it and do all the rehearsals and stuff. So he's been pretty much gone all week, because once they get done with school, they have to go to this rehearsal in the evening. And yeah, it's like a whole week of rehearsals pretty much So I've barely seen him all week, which is probably a good thing, because if I'm sick with something different than he's sick with, maybe he won't catch it from me. But anyway, that's kind of an update on how things have been since we got back. But as for the con itself, I wanted to start with explaining a little bit more about the Worldhopper Ball, because I did touch on it a little bit after the ball, but like I said, my thoughts were a bit scattered and I was really tired, so I did want to give a little bit more context. And so like I said, we stood in line for quite some time. It was supposed to start at 9:30, and we were standing in line for since about 9:20. We finally got in at about 10:15-ish. So it was a long line to get in, and they were taking up the whole third floor of the convention center, and they had it decorated so lavishly. It was beautiful and really immersive. And it was really cool to walk in and just be enveloped in this whole other world, and then get to see the actors kind of make speeches, and there were performances and dances. However, there were a few things that were a little bit difficult. When we signed up for the ball, we were sent a little Google form to fill out with like our food choices, and so we were kind of under the impression it was going to be like a sit-down type banquet with tables, and then there'd be like some kind of central area where they'd do the performances and stuff. It wasn't like that at all. So there was a big central area, but it was at floor level, which meant that really, unless you were very tall, you could only see what was going on if you just happened to be right around the edge of that kind of dance floor. Which I was at first, because we were in line to get drinks, and that's where the line was. But for those of you who have ever worn fancy dress clothes and had to wear the shoes that typically go along with fancy dress clothes, you'll know that after 45 minutes of standing in line and then getting in yet another line to try and get something to drink, our feet were kind of killing us, and there was hardly anywhere to sit. They had, instead of tables, there were like little seating areas with pretty couches and some beanbag, like fancy beanbag chairs and lounges and stuff. But there weren't tables for everybody to sit at. And they didn't have anyone bring food. It was just, it was like a stand that you would go to and choose the food that you wanted, and then bring it back to wherever you were sitting or standing, and you could eat it there. So, and then the drinks were at a different stand with a different line. And we were in that line for, we got in that line first because we were thirsty. And they gave you like these 2 little pearls that you could trade in for a free drink, like each. So we were going to get in line and use those. But the line literally never moved. Part of it was because people would stop to watch what was going on for the show. But then once the show was done, the line still wouldn't move, and we were in that line for quite a while before we gave up, and we happened to notice a seating area kind of open up next to us, and we went and sat down there instead because we were in pain from our feet hurting. And we did eventually get up and go get some food, and the food was really cool because one of the things that we had said before we went to this Worldhopper Ball based on the Stormlight Archives books, was that we'd love to try a dish called chowta, which is something that's described in the books. But we didn't think we'd get to because it's more of a not a high society meal, if you catch my drift. And but it's funny that they kind of played on that and commented something about how it became popular for the highborn society people to eat the food of the dark eyes. So we got to try chowta, which was kind of on our bucket list and really cool that we got to try. However, in my opinion, it was really good, but it tasted pretty much like Greek food, like a Greek gyro, basically. But that's not how I pictured chowta after reading the way it's described in the books. So I don't know if that's my interpretation being incorrect or if they just did the closest thing that they could. I'm not sure. But it was really good. And then the other thing that you could eat was a stew. There were different kinds of stew. There was a vegetarian one and like a seafood stew that was really spicy. Fletcher tried the spicy food because technically that's supposed to be for men. And he said it was very spicy. And that was a little rough because we couldn't get a drink. So not only did you have to get in line to get like mixed drinks or alcoholic drinks or whatever, but there didn't seem to be a way to just get some water anywhere. So that was rough. And we had been traveling all day, so we were pretty tired and worn out. So I'm sure that added to it. But the music was really loud. And we got overstimulated pretty quickly after most of the performances were done. When we couldn't get a drink, we did end up leaving early. But we were excited to see that the things we really wanted to have happen did happen. One of the things that we had discussed we'd want to see at any Stormlight kind of show would be the King's Wit being there to insult people, because that's a big part of Light Eye's gatherings in the book, and the King's Wit was definitely there insulting people, so it was perfect. And we happened to be there on the night when Brandon Sanderson was the one that was going to make the toast. Apparently it was going to be a different person each time. We were there the first night and it was his turn to make the toast. I left pretty much that whole thing in for anyone who is a fan of the Stormlight Archive or Brandon Sanderson and would want to hear it. Totally get it if you're not. If you're not, I don't know how you made it this far, but I appreciate that you're here. But yeah, it was really cool to get a chance to meet the characters and be kind of engrossed in that world, because it's really the only time we're gonna get to have something like that with, I guess once you read these books, they're pretty long and they go into great detail about the world and the characters and the world building and everything. It starts to feel like it could be a real place. And so being able to kind of like, quote unquote, see it in person was really exciting and really fun. I just wish we had been a little less tired. So the reason we had to go on the first night is because that's the only time I was able to get tickets, just because they sold out so fast on the first night I tried, which would have been the second night. But we were pretty happy we ended up going on the first night so that we could concentrate on everything else that was part of the con for the rest of the time. But I'm hoping next year they do plan to do this again and change the theme every time, which is really cool. When I would hope if they do make some changes, I would suggest having water available for everybody. Maybe more seating. I really think they could have used a bigger area because there were a lot of people who wanted to attend, and definitely not enough seating for everyone who did attend. It would be really cool if it was like if everyone was seated at tables and served, and that way we could both concentrate on watching the show and still get things to eat and drink, because it was kind of, you had to either stay by the dance floor area where the show was going on, or you wouldn't be able to see anything. So you had to choose between eating and drinking, sitting down, or being able to see the show. So that was the only kind of bummer. You could still hear what was going on, but it was really hard to see. Sam was able to get some cool video of some of the characters dancing. But yeah, it was tough to see everything. I would definitely go again if we had the opportunity, though, because it was really cool. But yeah, I think this was the perfect year for us to go because they tried out so many new things for the first time, such as the Worldhopper Ball, but also, as you saw in the vlog portion, they had these story decks, and that was those decks of cards that you could earn and trade. And they made these passport booklets where you'd get stamps for completing different goals throughout the weekend, like going to panels in certain locations and visiting different vendor booths. And there was even like a scavenger hunt kind of thing that you could complete different logic puzzles and stuff to get a stamp for that. And the more you completed, the more story deck cards you could get. And we were able to all trade for enough to complete our story decks. There were 3 different story decks with 54 cards each, and we all completed those by trading. And then there was a 4th deck that was made up of 9 cards of the Heralds, something from Stormlight again. And those were a lot more difficult to obtain all of, especially because we found out there was a shipment that got delayed and included some of those cards in it. So they ended up being ultra rare. So Fletcher was the only one of us, I think, to complete the Herald's deck. But it's cool that one of us did. The exhibition hall had pretty great options for food. And so between that and our hotel, which was right next to the convention center, we never felt like we had to go anywhere extra to have a meal. We ate at the hotel restaurant, I think like 3 times, and their food was really, really good and pretty reasonably priced considering. So that was really nice. Oh, and after the Worldhopper Ball got finished, it was, I think, around midnight-ish. We were able to hop over to where they were distributing the book bundles for everybody and pick up our book bundles, which we didn't think we'd be able to do till the next day because we thought they'd close, because they were handing out book bundles while we were in line to get into the Worldhopper Ball. There was a whole other line for people to stand in line to get their book bundles. But by the time we got out of the ball, that line was pretty much gone, and we were able to walk right up and get our book bundles, and it took like a minute, which was epic. So that was really cool. And so for our book bundles, we got this a signed and numbered copy of Book 5, Wind and Truth, a really cool bookmark, and a big plushie in the shape of a chol, which is a creature on the planet Roshar where these books take place. And one more thing. Oh, a pin of one of the characters, which is really cool because I've collected quite a few of other pins of characters in this world and other worlds of the Cosmere. So I was really happy to get the pin. But a funny thing happened with the plushie at the airport. We were going through TSA and our bags got sent to the side because they were like flagged. So come to find out it's the plushie, and apparently they had to like swab the plushie to make sure that it was, I don't know, not a threat or not carrying anything it was supposed to be not carrying. I'm not really exactly sure. But the funny thing is, it wasn't just us. Literally every Chol plushie that went through the airport to go back to its home had to get pulled aside and swabbed. I can only imagine what these airport workers were thinking, having to pull out every single one of these random stuffed animals that were all the same and swab them all. It was really funny. And when we got home, someone had already posted a meme online that showed a picture of the plushie and said, "Felt cute, might smuggle some drugs later." So that was really funny. I don't know why. It's just really entertaining to me thinking about these airport workers having to unpack everybody's bags to get out these dangerous Chol plushies, make sure they're safe. Anyway, I won't subject you guys to my voice for any longer because I know it sounds really rough and it's probably going to get rougher the more I talk. So I'm going to stop here, but if you have any questions, because I'm sure I've forgotten to talk about stuff, go ahead and leave those in the comments and I will be happy to respond about our experience and stuff. I wish I could give you a play-by-play of everything that happened that was cool. It was so neat to see everybody in cosplay. Oh, and lots of people were really impressed by Fletcher's miscloak. I keep telling him I think he should sell the pattern online or something because people really enjoyed that. And it made me wish that I had put more time into coming up with a better cosplay because it was so fun to walk around and see how everyone was dressed and stuff. But really, mostly what I loved is being able to go do this thing that is really kind of niche and be able to do that with my kids and have it be something we all genuinely just love. And we had such a great time, and it was so nice to just spend that 3 days hanging out with them, doing something that we all loved and just being together. It was so fun. Oh, I did want to mention that Casey was talking about how he thinks he'd like to play D&D. So Sam just decided to GM a game for us that she just made up on the spot, and we all got to play Stormlight characters. It was at dinner one night. I think it was Saturday night. And this will only make sense if you've read the books, but I played Kaladin, Fletcher played Renarin, and Casey decided to play Cheery. So if you've read the books, you might know how weird of a group that was. But Sam just came up with this cool story and we won the game. We made the right choices in the end and we solved the riddle and the problem and we found Hoyd. And it was just really cool. I haven't played D&D in a really long time and it blew my mind that Sam could just come up with this game and we could play it. And Casey was a really good Cheery. So it was a blast, and she did mention we might be able to play more D&D when they come up for Christmas, which is just over a week from now. Whew, already. You guys ready for Christmas? So I think we'll all really enjoy that if it gets to happen. So yeah, had a blast. Fletcher wants to do it again next year, but I don't think we'll be able to save up enough to do it again already for the next year. So maybe the year after that, we'll see. I would literally go every year if I could. It was so much fun and just great to be around like-minded people who love the same kind of things you do. And yeah, it was great. Anyway, guys, I will leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this weird kind of mashup of a vlog and a whip and chat. Sorry my voice is so raspy and gross, but I didn't want to wait any longer to get this recorded, or I probably would have forgotten even more of what I wanted to say. So thank you so much for being here, and I'll DAC you in my next video. Bye, everybody.